experience, and you had this sort of thought, I've had this on a number of times, that person knows God. They spoke to someone they were intimate with. And it really doesn't matter how the prayer is answered. The important thing was like, they got a line with God that's what I'm talking about. Adele Calhoun, in her helpful book, I keep going back to it, introduces section 7. She has like 12 different types of prayer. But here's the introduction to the whole section. She said, prayer is a word that describes a relationship. Disciplines of prayer provide patterns for attending to God throughout the day. They open us up, I love this phrase, to the divine dialogue through intentional encounter with the Trinity. The divine dialogue through intentional encounter with the Trinity. So, here's the key idea in the sermon. Prayer describes a relationship of trust. It is sustained by a desire to grow in intimacy with God. Now, certainly prayer is request. That would be the kind of the technical term is supplication, where I'm asking something of God for me, or intercession, where I'm asking something of God for someone else. But in this sermon, I'm going to take a much broader definition of prayer. Rather, prayer is this ongoing conversational relationship with God. It includes supplication, it includes intercession, but it is so much more. In that sense, prayer is a description of the relationship. This past week, Nine and I were in Wisconsin. I had the opportunity of doing a wedding on Friday night. Then we spent 4 days in Madison, Wisconsin, where we formerly lived. And we saw friends. We saw a number of friends, but not so many that it was too much. We stayed in 4 different homes over 7 nights. And what astounded me, in retrospect, was just we were able to pick up, and we'd seen many of these people in the interim, but we moved here 23 years ago. But as we were driving back, I thought, these relationships are all still intact. And prayer is a term to describe your relationship with God that should be growing. And there might be seasons where it's not quite what it was at one time, but it can always be renewed. So my hope in this sermon is that your relationship with God will be renewed, and you'll find desire and some avenues to exercise that. So 3 parts to the sermon. They all start with C. I wasn't really trying hard to do that. Continual prayer, closet prayer, and confident prayer. We're going to start with the continual prayer. Listen to these passages. They all come from the Apostle Paul. Romans 12:12. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer.